This video will show you how I build my home-built block singles for my home layout. I will first give you a demonstration of these block singles in operation on a demo layout I built to show the operation of my block detectors, which control the block singles. You can see the upper part of the dual block single turn from green to red. This is the block single for block 3 and will turn red when the train enters block 3, indicating the block is occupied. After a short delay, the block signal for block 2 turns green, indicating block 2 is no longer occupied. As the train leaves block 3 and enters block 4, the block signal for block 4 turns red, indicating it is occupied. And after a short delay, the block signal for block 3 returns to green. We will now travel back through the siding, first switching the turnout to the siding to get the green light. Now I will show you how I built my homemade block singles. Here are the LEDs I would use to make these block singles. The 3mm LEDs on the right would work great for HO scale block singles, while the 1.8mm LEDs on the left I use for my N scale block singles. Notice the shorter leads on the LEDs. This is the negative side of the LEDs. The wire I used was wire wrap wire. I found this to be excellent wire for this job. To make my N-scale block singles, I first used super glue to mount red-green 1.8mm LEDs to a faceplate made of sheet styrene plastic, with 2 holes drilled out to accommodate the lenses of the LEDs. I next trimmed off the negative leads of the LEDs, leaving just enough to solder the black wires onto. I then soldered on the black wires to the trimmed leads. I used brass tubing for the poles of the block singles. As seen in the picture, I soldered the positive leads of the LEDs to the brass tube. I also soldered a white wire to the bottom of the brass tube. This will carry the plus 5 volts to the common plus leads of the LEDs. In this picture, I have cut off the excess leads of the LEDs. I next fed the black leads down through the brass tube. To make the covers for the lenses of the LEDs, I used some plastic tubing I bought at the hobby shop. To cut the tubing, I used a fine bladed saw with a miter box. I cut one end of the tubing at a 45-degree angle to give the right look for the lens covers. Since the hole down the center of the tube was too small, I used a drill to enlarge it. Here is a picture of the finished lens covers. I painted the insides of the lens covers black first before mounting them to the faceplate. Here I have glued the lens covers to the faceplate using plastic cement. To make the bases of the block singles, I used balsa wood and cut them with the miter saw. Here I have cut off some bases and drilled holes through them in order to feed the brass tubing of the block singles through. Next, I painted the bases black. Then I pushed the brass tube through the hole in the base and glued it at the proper height. All that is left to do is paint the rest of the faceplate, lens covers, and backs of the LEDs black. I also painted the brass tube silver. This single block single shows what the final product looks like. There's probably things you can do to make it look more professional, but these steps should get you started. So that is it. Be sure to look at my other video on YouTube, Block Detector and Block Single Demo, to get a more in-depth demonstration of these block singles in operation.